Again.
Did you ask for this gig or?
Huh?
Did you ask for this? Do you like it so much?
I don't know. I guess this is just how it plays out. I got back-to-back weeks. Heard you guys ask for him again. That's what it was.
Cory, what did you see from your guys in adjusting to the deep balls they gave up early to try to take it away later in the game?
I think we adjusted well in the second half. Obviously, they came out in the first quarter, and we knew they were going to do different things and try to get certain formations to adjust stuff to try to throw some post on us. Just as you watch film on those guys, the way they attack Virginia Tech, they do a good job over there. They understand coverages and how to get some things. And, I thought our kids just after coming out and some of those plays, I don't remember if it was Series 3 or Series 4, we sort of got back-to-back big plays hit on us. I think we sort of calmed down, relaxed, got some things adjusted, just how to play some things out. And I thought the kids came back good in the second half. From a coverage standpoint, handling those guys and being tighter and connected to them and everything. So I felt like we adjusted well after that one series that hit us with those back-to-back big plays.
That said that they caught you in good coverage for the game-winning run, including the long run. What did you see on film that went wrong after watching the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good call. They had a good call, and they sort of got things fitted up the way it needed to be for themselves. Then we had some angles from there too of approaching to that ball carrier that we sort of misjudged some angles and missed some as we were attacking towards that quarterback. Then obviously he made a good play. Then finished it out with the touchdown. So there were some things even though within that we could have slowed them down, stopped them, and kept them still trying to only fight for a field goal. But the quarterback, he came up, he made a good football play. Then we got to fix some things of just our attack angles towards that ball carrier in that moment.
Donovan was very close to him. You almost caught him. How frustrating is that?
He was. You know what? I think last week I just talked about that, of how many open field tackles that he had. And you know what? Take ownership as a coach, too. You sit there and you look, Donovan, that was play 74 for him. He's been playing a lot of plays these last few games, and I got to do a better job with player management and player load of making sure that I'm giving him, series off and managing his reps better to make sure he is fresh for those key critical moments too. So I got to do a better job as a coach with his player, his management, his load management too, and making sure he gets proper rest so he can be full tilt, ready to roll in those critical situations at the end of the football game.
So that would be like a dialogue between you and Donovan about, hey, how are you feeling, but also, no, Donovan's not going to want to come off.
He's a competitor, right? So he wants to be out there. But, at the end of the day, what we do is always going to be best for the kid. And he understands that. We've substituted him throughout the season. It's just these last few games we have. I think that game and even the UVA game, he came off for a few snaps. But, at the end of the day, you just got to do a better job as a coach. We have players that are capable to be able to go in there and play and just got to manage that load better from myself. But, no, he's very understanding. Now, he might be next to Coach Collins, I'm ready to go. But he's got to understand, we got to do a good job so he's ready at the end of those football games.
The assistant head coach, what do you see from this team as a whole on how they're trying to bounce back from 3 straight losses, this team went from 7 straight to 3 straight and trying to get back on track to finish strong despite the disappointing past week?
Yeah, there's been some letdowns and obviously challenging where you start. But, the focus and the work has not changed. And, we talked about the inches last week. Coach talked about it this morning. We even had a devotion before staff meeting yesterday about it. We just got to continue to fight for the inches, and they have not let up on that. Because as you still see, we were good in third down. We were good in a lot of situations. But at the end of the day, we didn't win that final situation. The series before, 4 minutes left, we get a huge 4th down. We won that one right there, all right? You can't get too high, you can't get too low. Coach Junko would always say it to this football team when he was, here, working here. And just like that, you win those inches right there, you got to come back and be ready to win the next set as well. And you know what? The kids approach just like they did last Tuesday. They approached today with the same mindset and the same work, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're still working to finish the season out right, to send seniors out on the right page, and and finish the season off on the right path. So the kids have still worked hard, even with adversity. You know, you could have sat there and said, we lost 2 in a row and you're playing Clemson. All right. That didn't bother us at all. You know what I mean? They battled. They worked their butts off. They fought. You know, we just didn't come up at the end. And they're doing the same thing this week of how they approach this week, how they approach the meeting on Sunday as well.
You guys have had, you guys elected leaders at the beginning part of the year and the obvious captain. But who are some of the newer faces or players that maybe you weren't sure if they were leaders at the beginning of the year that have kind of emerged throughout the season?
You know, I think defensively you see a lot of those guys. And I can't really speak room to room, you know, but, you know, as you look at the back end, I mean, you still seen guys like Rylan Gandy and Rashad Battle step up. Rashad Battle has done a heck of a job. He's in year 5, and this is where he's popped and got a lot of reps this year. And he's went out there and he's stood sturdy and has played some good football for us and made some good football plays. And Rylan has done a good job with this opportunity this year. Then you see Mondo, you know, Lynham, we call him Mondo. So you see him popping in, and he's done a good job of stepping up and really in that UVA game coming up, making some critical plays and big-time plays. Then you go down and you see, you know, a young guy like Biles with his work and what he's come up with, and Lovelace. And, you know, we all know who Brandon George was going into the season. He was elected a captain. Then you see, you know, Kyle Lewis, too. Again, I think I said it last week. You guys get up here. Kyle Lewis, he might be some coaches in here. Like, that kid is in here first thing, watching film in that linebacker room. Then you just continue to see how the defensive line is just continue to work and grow and get after quarterbacks and hit those guys and pressure those guys and force some hurries for us. So you've seen growth throughout this defense from week 1 all the way till now throughout the season. So, you know, I think with a lot of guys on the field, as well as guys that may not be playing as much or they're role players, what may be, they're still pushing that envelope. And in general, I think we just push each other defensively.
You mentioned him, I'll ask about him. I mean, Pat said a while ago that Kyle is an all-ACC linebacker, very deserving of that spot. I mean, is he deserving of, you know, All-American consideration?
Well, I don't do the voting, but I know I love that he's on our team every single Saturday. I do know that. I know that I love he's on our team every single practice. The way he works, the way he shows up, and the way he makes everybody else better around him. So at the end of the day, whoever does all that voting, hopefully they vote right. But I think Kyle Lewis is a stud, and I love the way the kid approaches the game. And it's not only like, oh, he makes these splash plays, he makes these big plays. No, he makes good, consistent plays too, and he shows up every single day. So that's the cool part, to see the work that he puts in, to see him to be able to receive that on Saturdays of all that work and see those plays made for him.
When you say he makes people better around him, what do you mean by that?
Just work ethic. And again, I don't think we have a bunch of just vocal guys. Like, you look at Brandon George is a vocal guy. Like, he pushes guys, okay? But Kyle just, like I say, he shows up in practice, just flying to the ball. I mean, I point him out in my meetings, and I point out guys all the time from other positions when they're flying to the ball. Like, hey, this is what the defense is supposed to look like. Hey, that's what a great teammate looks like right there, flying to the football. And that's what we should all aspire to be. And he's just a guy that shows up in practice film all the time.
This is the second year in a row you prepared for Louisville. What stands out to you about Jeff Brom? Not just his offense, but what you can tell from, like, play calling and game planning, how he approaches the game.
Yeah, I think, you know, 2 weeks in a row we faced some good, you look from a pass game standpoint, even last week, and who we faced last week, Riley. Just again, when you watch film, you can understand who understands coverages and break points and exchange points and stuff like that. And, you know, I think these two guys that we face, Clemson last week, did a good job, as well as these guys. So, you know, as you change up things, as you look at stuff, they like to, you know, pass the ball deep, good vertical pass game, move guys around, do some things. So he does good stuff. You know, they got a good quarterback. I think, you know, he's been there not there for a little bit, but he's played some college football for a little bit. He's got a good quarterback that can throw the ball. They got good receivers on the outside in Brooks that transferred in. Bell, who we saw last year, who's a big physical receiver. Then they got Higgins in the slot. Then they got a freshman that they're starting to play more. So he's got some guys that he spreads the ball around to. They get the running back touches out of the backfield, which they have very good speed out of that backfield. So they spread it around. They move guys around and distribute it well.
Anything final? Coach, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.